and we can look at offsetting. Where is it? Offsetting columns. Alright, so you can see here we have a 4-column div, and here we just have a blank space, and then we have another 4-column div here. Now the reason that this is over here instead of here is we have an offset of 4. Okay, so this offset of 4 is this blank space. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to have each one will be 4 columns. Okay, the image and the features, but we're going to offset 1 column. Alright, so we want to do column medium 4, and then we want to do a column medium offset 1. Alright, and next one is going to be column MD4, and then we're going to do a column MD offset 2. And I think that should work. Okay, so in this first one, we're going to have an H1. It'll say gamma features. Alright, and then under that we're going to have an unordered list. Okay, so LI and then we need some sample text, so I'm just going to grab some text from here. I'll grab like a sentence, and then I'll just paste it in, delete some. Just so we have different text. Seems more realistic, like you'd have in a real website. You could just write like link 1, link 2, link 3, but I think this just looks a little better. Let's see. Alright, so that's fine for now. So we have our unordered list. Let's just take a look at it, see what it looks like. Okay, so that's what we have so far. It's a section, we have the heading, we have the unordered list. On the other side, we're just going to have that big image. Okay, so if we go to the other div, we're going to have an image, and we'll give it a class. I'm just going to give it a class of big logo. Okay, and then the src is image / I think it's logo PNG, I think. So let's see what that looks like, see if that shows up. Alright, good. Now I want to give this a background, okay, background color, and basically we can do that by its section ID. You can see that we have a section ID of feature. So let's go to the style CSS, and we're going to say section ID feature is going to have a background, and the background is going to be 1 CAA98, and then the color we need to make white, and padding, I'm going to give padding on the top and bottom of 40 pixels. Alright, and then set the overflow to auto. Okay, so we can check that out. Alright. Now we want to format this list right here. That doesn't look very good. So let's target that with section ID feature, unordered list item. Okay, so I'm going to set the font size to 22 pixels, and we want list style none. Alright, and we want line height. I'm going to set the line height to 2M. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Now I want to add the check mark here like we have in the final project. So to do that, Bootstrap comes with glyphicons you can use. So if we go to components, you can see all the available glyphicons you can use. We're going to use this check mark, so what we want to do is just copy this class name and then go to our HTML, and wherever we want to put it, we want an I tag with the class, and that's going to be set to the one we copied. And then we just want to end the I tag, and then we want a space. Okay, so that should give us the check. Alright, so there's our check. I'm just going to copy this, and then we want to put this on all the list items. You know what? I actually want to change the width of this. I think I'm going to make this an extra column wide. Maybe thinking maybe we should just remove this offset and just do 5. Yeah, I think that's better. That way we can fit all the text. Okay, so that's basically it for the features. Now let's finally just add the footer. Okay, so underneath the section we want an HTML5 footer tag. And in the footer, we're going to do the same thing we've been doing. Give it a container, and then a row. Okay, and we're going to split this with 6 and 6. So div class call md6. Okay, on one side we're going to have just a navigation menu. Okay, so we'll say home, about, contact, and let's just say privacy policy. Okay, and then on the right side we just want to have a simple copyright. So we'll say copyright copy 2015, and we'll say all rights reserved. Okay, so that should do it for the HTML. Now if we reload this, it doesn't look too good. Okay, so we just need to add a few classes here. I'm sorry, a few styles. So we'll do the footer itself. I'm going to give it a background of a really dark gray. So we need to make the color of the text white. And then I'm just going to add some padding. So 30 pixels on the top, 20 on the bottom. Okay, and then the list items, the menu, I want to float the list items to the left. And then add some padding. Do 10 pixels on each side. And then list style none. Okay, and we also want to make the links white. Alright, and then the paragraph, which is the copyright, I want to float right. Okay, so we'll save that, reload, and there's our footer. Okay, so the home page is now complete as far as core design. We still might need to do some edits to make it fully responsive. Alright, so but the home page itself is done, at least the markup is done. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and add the about and contact pages, and then we'll look into really optimizing it for mobile and tablet screens. Hey guys, now that we have the home page complete as far as the HTML markup, we're going to go ahead and create the about and the contact page. Okay, we already have the menu items here. We just need to create the pages. So in the core folder, along with the index file, I'm going to create a new text document, and I'm going to call it about.html, and then also going to create contact.html. Now the contact form isn't going to actually work because that would require some server-side programming, and that's beyond the scope of this series. So we'll just have a form, a Bootstrap formatted form. Alright, so let's go ahead and open the about page in our editor. And basically I'm going to copy everything from index. So we want to grab all the content, paste it into about. And we'll start at the top here. Let's go ahead and let's change this to about, okay, the title. Everything else in the head will be the same. The navigation bar is going to be the same, so we don't have to touch any of this. Jumbotron, okay, we're going to take that out. Now this section here, I'm going to change the ID to about, and that'll basically wrap around all of the content. We're going to have a main area and then a sidebar. So the first column, first of all, let's just delete all the content in the column. Alright, I'm going to change this to 8 because this is where the main content will be. And the next one, we're going to keep it 4. Okay, so we'll delete everything inside of that column. This is going to be the side. Actually, you know what? We're going to keep that because that's what we want in the sidebar. I'm actually going to change it to demo 1. And then this last column we're going to get rid of because the first one is 8. So this obviously 8, 4, and 4 is more than 12. Okay, so it has to equal 12 unless you're doing offsetting. Alright, so we have our main area and our sidebar here. The features section we're going to get rid of entirely, and the footer should stay the same. Okay, so just to save it and see what it looks like. Okay, so we have the main area, sidebar, footer, menu. Now you'll notice that the home link is still highlighted, so we want to change that. Alright, and what we need to do is I'm going to copy or cut out this class active, and I'm going to paste this into this about link. Okay, it goes on the list item, not the actual link. Okay, so now the about menu link is highlighted. As far as the content, what we're going to do is just have some heading up here, a paragraph, and then we're going to use the Accordion module that Bootstrap offers. Okay, but before we do any of that, I want to do the title, which is going to go right here, and it's going to have its own, it's going to have a green background. Actually, let me just show you real quick. Okay, so we'll have the About Gamma title, and it'll look like this. So let's go ahead and do that. We want to go right under the navigation, and I'm going to create a new section, and I'm going to give it the ID of title bar. Alright, and we're going to have that in a container. Alright, and we're going to put a row in here. Alright, and this is only going to be there's only going to be one div, and it's going to be 12 columns long. Alright, so we're going to do div class call MD 12. And then we can put the H1, and we'll just say about gamma, and save that. And if we go and reload, you can see that it's there, but it's not formatted. We got too much space here, and we need a background color. So we'll go to the CSS, and right above the footer, I'm gonna say section ID title bar. Alright, and we want to, I'm gonna make the height 80 pixels, and the background, it's going to be our main blue color, which is 1 CAA98, and we want to make sure that the color is white so we can see the text. Alright, and then below that I'm going to say section title bar H1, and we're going to say margin bottom 20 pixels. We should also take the default padding from the title bar, so I'm going to just set padding to 0 and margin to 0. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Alright, so that looks good. So next we have this paragraph right here, which is going to have an H2 tag. Okay, so we want to go right here, and we're just going to use some filler text. I'm going to go to lipsum.com and just generate some paragraphs, and I'm just going to grab, I'd say about here is alright. Okay, so under the let's see, about section, about, oh, I didn't get rid of, oh, never mind. We just want to go right under the H2 and put a paragraph tag, paste the content and the end tag. Okay, so now we have our paragraph. Okay, so now we need to do the accordion. Okay, so we're going to go to getbootstrap.com, and I believe it's under the JavaScript menu item, and we're going to take a look at a lot of these throughout the course. But right now we want this collapse. Okay, so it's also called a collapse module, I guess, and basically it makes it so you can click a button or a link or whatever you'd like, and it'll make another div just slide up and down. Okay, here's the accordion example. Okay, so this is what we want. So we're just going to grab, it actually has all the code right here that you need. So we're going to copy that. You can see it's quite a bit. Make sure it's all copied, it's all highlighted before you copy. And then we're going to go right under the paragraph. I'm just going to put a BR tag here and paste that in. Okay, so I'm basically going to just tab this over a little bit. Alright, now this collapse module or accordion uses panels. Okay, so basically a panel is this here. It has this dark gray background, and if we go to, let me just show you, we're going to be using them through the series, but if we go to, I think it's components, and then down here we have panels. So if I click on that, you can see this is a basic panel. It just gives it a border with a round corner. This is a panel with a heading with a title. Panel with a footer. Alright, so basically you're just gonna surround this in a div called panel, and then if you want the heading, you'll put that in its own div called panel heading, and then the body will go in panel body. Alright, so I just figured I'd mention that. So let's go ahead and save this and see what happens. Okay, so there it is. Okay, nice smooth transition, sliding effect. And that's it. That's all we need for our about page. Okay, so next we're going to do the contact page, which right now is just a blank page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy everything in the about page, and then I'm going to open up the contact and just paste that in. And then up at the top we're going to change the title here. We'll change this to contact. Okay, this is all going to be the same. We do want to move the active class from about to contact. And we're going to keep this title bar. Okay, we're just going to change this to contact us. And then down here, change the section ID to contact, and we're going to have a container. It's going to have an 8-column div. Let's just delete everything that's in this div, including the accordion. So it should come down to, I think, right here. Yeah. Alright, so that should give us a kind of a blank slate. Alright. So now we need to create a form, and if we go to the Get Bootstrap site, you'll be going back and forth from this site quite a bit because they have all these nice snippets of code that you can just copy and paste. And we want to go to, I think forms is under CSS. Yeah, right here. So there's a few different types of forms we can use. This is a basic example, which is what we'll use. Okay, it has the code right here. We also have an inline form. So this would be used for something like a login or a newsletter subscribe or something like that. And then we have a horizontal form, which puts the labels to the left of the input as opposed to above it. All right, so we're just going to grab the basic form and then just tweak it to our liking. You want to paste that right in the 8-column div. And I just want to tab it over a little. Whoops. Okay, so by default it gives us an email address, a password, and file input. Okay, so we can get rid of this whole file input. Now you want to get rid of the div of form group as well, because this surrounds every field. So we want to just go from there to there and delete. We also want to delete this checkbox div. Okay, so from here to here. Alright, and then above here we have an email address. We'll leave this because we're going to have an email address field. I'm going to get rid of this for attribute. I just want to clean this up a little. We don't need an ID, okay, because obviously we're not going to add any functionality to the form, so we don't need that. Placeholder, enter email is good. Class, every field has to have this class if you want it formatted nicely. And then the type of the input is email, which is fine. You could also use text. This password field, I'm going to get rid of this, so from this div to there, and I'm going to copy this whole form group for the email field and paste it My keyboard is not working. Okay, so I'm going to paste that, and then I'm going to change this to, let's just do name, and then the type is going to be text, and then I'm going to change the placeholder to enter name, capitalize this as well, and that's our name field. Okay, so we want name. Let's do a company as well, company name. Company name. Okay, that's going to stay text. So name, company name, email address. Now let's do a message area, which is a text area. So I'm actually just going to copy this. Okay, it's going to be wrapped in this div class again, this form group. The label, let's say message, and this is actually going to be a text area. So I'm going to just replace this input with a text area, and we do want to give that a class of form control. Okay, and we can also do a placeholder. We'll say enter message. Alright, and then we need a closing text area tag, and that should be good. Submit button is fine, so let's save this and go and reload. And there's our form, nicely formatted, stretches across the area. We have padding, we have rounded corners, we have a highlight effect. So you can see that using a framework like Bootstrap, it's just really easy to implement things like this. You don't have to add your own custom styles. It just looks nice to begin with. So that looks good. So we have our 3 pages. In the next video, what I want to do is make it totally responsive. We're using the grid system, so it is responsive, but there's a few things we need to change. So we will do that next.